Making students. So far we have discussed physical properties of metals. Now the next property of metal is that metals also have very high melting and boiling points, and that is why even when they are heated, they do not melt easily, or they do not start boiling. So that's also one advantage why also metal utensils are used for cooking. So the same thing here also. Now when you want to prepare food, so you keep the food items in the utensil and put it on fire. Now had the metal having a very low melting point, in that case what would have happened? The utensil itself would have melted. But that doesn't happen because metals have very high melting points. In fact, the metal with the highest melting point is tungsten, and that is why tungsten is used in the filament of the bulb because of its high melting point. Now, why is it used in the filament? Because you can see whenever you switch on the bulb, so the bulb glows. That's electric current passes to the bulb. Now, such a huge amount of current passes reaches the bulb, so it produces a huge amount of heat and light energy. If the metal has a low melting point, then what will happen? Metal will start melting at that high temperature. So we need a metal which has very high melting point so that it doesn't melt. So that is the purpose why tungsten has been used to make the filament or bulb. Sodium and potassium, on the other hand, have very low melting points. So they should never be used in such kind of things because they start to melt very easily as soon as you heat them. Even heating them a little bit will make them a lot reacted. So even if you bring fire near sodium or keep it at little high temperature, there are chances that sodium might catch fire. So sodium and potassium have very low melting points. Next property is the good conduction of electricity. So metals are very good conductors of electricity. That is why metals are used in all sort of electricity conduction in our home. You can see it yourself. Try to take a wire, an unused wire, and try to remove the upper plastic covering of the wire. Inside, what you will see? So here I am having different covering wires. Some have blue cover, some have green color, some have red color. To just remove the upper plastic covering. Okay. Then inside what you will see? Inside are metals. It could be a copper wire or any other metal. So these metals inside are very good conductors of electricity. So they allow electricity to pass through them, and that is why they are used for all these kind of electricity related wiring purposes. But at the same time, why do you think this covering of plastic or any other non-conductor is there? For safety. Because if the wire is a good conductor of electricity, that means electricity is always passing through the wire. So if you touch that wire, there are chances that you will get electric shock. So to protect ourselves from electric shock, the metal is covered with the help of another outer layer, and that outer layer is made up of mostly plastic because plastics are poor conductors of electricity, so that we do not get shock. You can also do this thing: take a bulb and battery and connect the bulb with the battery through metal wires. You can see in the second case, in the second diagram, connect them through metal wires. Now when you connect it through metal wires, what happens? When you join the wires together, the bulb glows. Why? Because the ends are joined. So throughout from the battery, the current is produced. That is the purpose of battery. It produces electric current. So that current reaches the bulb and the filament gets heated and the bulb glows. In this case, in the second case, bulb glows because these wires allow electricity to pass through them, because these are metal wires and metals are good conductors of electricity. So in this case, if you, in the upper case, in the first case, if you can see, we have not joined the ends of the wires. So if we do not join the ends of wire, what happens? The space there doesn't contain the does is not the good conductor of electricity. So what is there in the space? Air, and air is not a good conductor of electricity. So air doesn't allow electricity to pass through it. Therefore the circuit is not completed and the bulb here doesn't glow. You can see. So metals are very suitable for construction of wires. So knowing this, we will also look at the some electric safety measures that we take. Some of the safety measures are: electrical outlet safety caps reduce risk of electrical shocks. These are the safety caps. Now, you will have seen these kind of electric outlets, and you would have also observed that children always have a tendency to insert their fingers into these outlets. Now, what's there inside the outlets? Inside, you would have a lot of wires carrying current. So now, whenever you try to touch a wire carrying current, you will get electric shock. So, in order to prevent that, there are safety caps available, and these are made up of poor conductor of electricity, mostly of plastic, so that children, when you insert these safety caps in the sockets, in the outlets, so what happens, children cannot see holes, and they will not insert their finger, so they are safe from electric shock. Also, it's seen that electricians, when they are doing some sort of electric repairs, they always prefer wearing gloves. So these gloves are also made up of some non-conductor, some poor conductor of electricity. Mostly, they are made of rubber or something which is poor conductor of electricity, so that they will not get any electric shocks. So this is the safety measures which we should take care. Now, the next property is the metals are sonorous. Now, what do we mean by sonorous? They produce ringing sounds. Now, have you ever heard the sound of your school bell? When it's rang, sound is produced. So these type of sounds are produced only by metals. If you take the cutlery from your kitchen, like spoons, knives, forks, and when you strike them against each other, you will get some sort of ringing sound. Why? Because they are all made up of metals. You take a lot of coins and mix them with one another, or exchange them between your hands, you can hear some sound. And so these type of sounds are produced only by metals. So metals are sonorous. Next property is that metals have very high density. Now, you would actually feel that metals are very heavy. Let's suppose if you have to carry a very big box. Suppose there are two scenarios. In the first scenario, you have to carry a box which is a plastic box, and in the second scenario, you have to carry a box of iron. So, which will be more heavy? Iron definitely will be more heavy, and the density in case of metals is also very high. More density means the molecules or the atoms are more densely packed to each other. They are overpopulated, so obviously they are more heavy also. Iridium and osmium are the two metals having the highest densities. On the other hand, lithium has the lowest density. So far, we saw the physical properties of metals. This was all about the physical properties of metals. Thank you.